Hi everyone, I'm Nicole Kelleher, the Christmas coach, and I'm thrilled to share Raz Imports 2025 collection with you. Raz always has such an amazing collection of decor for Christmas. Their themes are beautifully thought through, and they're always leaders in the game as far as what's coming up in styles and colours for the coming Christmas. So let's get straight into it. So the first theme that we have here is called All of the Trimmings. And this is bold. It is bright jewel tones of pink, teal, royal blue, green, greenery as a background. And in the past, there used to be a lot more flocked trees, but we're seeing a lot more of the strong green as the base for our greenery, for our wreaths and garlands, as well as the tree themselves. And then we have beautiful, strong, rich royal gold colours as our feature pieces in this theme. You can see in this little photo here, the jewelled tree behind the gorgeous gold deer in the front. And just in the background, you can see a hint of the gorgeous garland that they've got going on there. All right, let's have a look at what they have provided for us here. They've got two beautiful trees within the all of the trimming range. So they'll often have two trees that they create that have quite different looks to them. And you'll see the second one is quite different to our first tree here. So this first tree has a very strong vintage feel to it. Beautiful glass reflector ornaments on there. Lots and lots of glass ornaments in those strong colours. Also a bit more of the brighter pink in this, so it's not too heavy a look. You've also got garlands that are glass garlands in there, and the ornaments are all sort of a smaller size. They're probably 8 to 10 centimetres, which is sort of 3 to 4 inches in size, rather than some of the trees you'll see coming up where they've got very big ornaments that they're packing into the tree to create a totally different look. So this is far more elegant, as I said, reflects on the sort of 50s vintage theme with the ornaments they've got. You'll also, if you look at the tree here, you can see that they've got onion-shaped ornaments, reflector in the reflector. They've got finials, longer ornaments, and round. So use the three shapes when you're creating your tree. Having the three shapes really does add a lot more interest to your tree than just having round baubles on your tree. So something to think about when you're setting up your decorating for the coming season. You can also see with the image to the right of that they've got glass trees and also jeweled trees. So just at the back, you can see sort of an open gold frame tree with the jewels on it. And in this particular case, they've got that brighter pink that reflects the vintage style tree on the left as the feature colour on the table, a bit of brighter green in there, and then the beautiful gold sleigh and also the candle holders at the back. So fun, elegant, reflective of vintage. For us in Australia, I love that it's bright. I do personally love using some brights at Christmas time because it is our summer. So if you're in a warmer climate, all of you people in California, for example, or Florida, you might also like to use brights because we have a brighter Christmas season, even if it's winter for you guys. All right, let's have a look at what else. This is their second tree. So you can see, I'm just going to quickly flick back. This one is light with more of that lighter pink. And this one, they've used much more of the deeper blue and also green. And the pink is just that little bit stronger than the previous color. So a very different look with a very jewel tone tree, very strong, very peacocky in colors. So we've seen peacocks come through over the years, but normally you'll actually have the peacock itself being a feature, whereas this is all about the colours that it represents. This tree also has beautiful examples of using longer finials or almost icicle style of decorations in the bright colours still, but having those different, again, the different shape ornaments. These ornaments are all a little bit bigger. I would say they're all the 10 centimetres to maybe even 20 with some of those longer finials. So that's 4 to 8 inches in length, but the main hanging ornaments would be sort of 4 to 6 inches or 10 to 15 centimetres in length. So it's still elegant. It's incredibly strong. I love the depth of colour in this personally. I love then the gold, hints of gold in it as well. It's on a green tree again, I said, and you can see it in the garland to the right. The greenery in this is very much the green base rather than anything flocked. But that garland on the right, talking to that, very simple. A little bit of hanging garland underneath and two beautiful bows with the velvet, rich velvet tones. And you'll see in the bow they've used 3 different widths of ribbon. I love using that 1 inch, that thin ribbon in my bows. I find it really adds a lot of interest. You can also use it in the trees if you wanted to, but it's great layering your ribbons like that and having different widths. And the velvet is definitely very regal and beautiful and strong in colour. And you can see they've actually added some ribbon into the trees. If you look closely, you'll see, but they're kind of pushed in to give depth of colour. So I'm looking at that. I can see 3 big bows in there, but really pushed in to the tree so that they kind of fill out the tree and add colour and interest into the middle of the tree. All right, our second theme is Deck the Halls. So we've got gold, but it's a bit more of a muted old vintage gold tone, a little bit of silver trim as well in there. Cream is strong. Touch of the jewels, so you can see in this image here you've got the tree with those rhinestone jewels, but they're clear, not coloured like our previous theme. A bit of vintage vibe, but not of that reflector style of our previous theme, and touches of black and grey to finish the look. So you can see all that in our image here. The beautiful Santa in his cream outfit. He's got a little bit of gold on there. He's got a little bit of silver in the ball. Then you've got the sleigh in that sort of rustic gold finish with the greenery. Again, we've got greenery as the base rather than flocking, and you can see that in the garland in the background as well as in the pot and in the wreath itself. And then the pot and the little tree on the side have got the grey tones in their decorations on there. So let's have a look at what they've got in this one. So in this tree, we've got very strong cream and soft gold. So it is not that brighter yellow gold so much. There's little pops. So when you do a tree like this, having some smaller ornaments with some brightness and some depth of colour is great, particularly if you want to push them into the tree a bit. Again, don't be afraid to have decorations on the outside of your tree as well as on the inside of the tree. That's what makes it interesting and gives real depth to your decorating. They've also got a few slightly larger pieces in there, so you can see sort of a big bell in there, and also poinsettias, so flowers in this tree. Again, we've got green as the base of the tree here, but we've got also cream with the reindeer sitting in the front, as well as that, as I said, softer gold tone. So the whole thing is a more muted, soft look. There's a tiny touch of black. If you look at the decoration in the middle, I think it says Deck the Halls. It's got little black ribbon on it. So you've got a little touches of black in there as well, which is really, really pretty. And then with our rocking horse on the right, if I could think of the name of it, again, sort of that creamy white colour, bit of greenery on there. Now, I don't know if the green around its neck is part of it or they've added it. It's a beautiful addition if they have, and a lovely gold bow. And then they've used those mirrored stars in the background hanging. You could put them in the tree if you wanted to, or hang them, or you could use it in a large pot and put some decorations like greenery around it and just have it sitting out. They could look really pretty as well. And here's a little bit more of that grey and black that I was talking about. So you can see the ribbon has the grey-black trees in it. Obviously, you've got the sleigh that's in the black. The houses themselves have got a more muted finish, a bit of black trim around the windowsill as well. And then you've got the stockings with the gorgeous same print as the ribbon, the fur trim, and the little bit of black around the binding of those. So a really lovely addition if you like a little bit of black in your decorating. Again, the green is strong. You can see it sitting on the table. That table is a great example of how to bring together some beautiful pieces for Christmas, but to create an entire look rather than just to create a few ad hoc pieces. So bringing that garland through the table like that really brings it all together and creates a story rather than just having one or two pieces sitting together. Same with the mantle here. You've got a little bit of greenery that brings those pieces together and creates a story with it rather than just throwing a couple of ornaments onto your mantle. So use some of these photos as great inspiration for how you can decorate yourself when it comes to decorating at home. Okay, again, here we've got, you can see the bells that have got a little bit more strength of colour, but they are a more orangey gold, that as I said, vintagey gold style, which is beautiful here. I love the use of the bells in the wreath on the left-hand image, just sitting in the middle of the wreath with a bow. Very simple, very elegant, great way to highlight the bells. You can also use them sitting on the edge of your garland, which is, I believe, the second right image here that they've got them as a sort of the main feature there. Now, in this particular example, you've also got that thin ribbon going through the garland. So you've got a second layer of colour with a pick that looks like it's kind of a jeweled wood colour pick that they've put through there. And then they've popped in some cream ribbon that all the ribbon you want to buy needs to be wired, and this is clearly wired ribbon, and you can see how you can swirl it through your piece to add that little pop of lightness to the garland and to bring it in to match all of your other pieces. The beautiful vintage Santas up there, and simple trees and candles, and then lovely signs. Signs are such a great way to add real interest. They can be bigger pieces. You can sit them like they have there on a mantle, on a tabletop, or you can take down other paintings or pictures you have in your home and put them in your home in those key spots. So just swap them around over the Christmas period. It's a great option. In the second image, you've got the sign in the middle of the mirror, which is another great example. I love the top of the mirror there as an example too, and an idea for you. They've used two picks that they've tied together with a bow in the middle. Those picks, you want them to be a bit thicker, so it might even be two on each side. But it's a really nice way to create a interest to a top of a mirror, or you could even sit something like that on top of a tabletop and then have some other pieces sitting around it. Really nice way to use picks and to bring everything together. And you can just see on the right-hand image a closer-in image of that Merry Christmas bauble that I was talking about earlier. So in that sort of black and grey toning with the black ribbon on there as well. All right, changing it up now completely. I kind of think of this as a bit of a Bridgerton theme, to be honest. Holiday Rendezvous. So we have got gold tones again, very regal looking, this theme. We've got creams. We've got lots of vintage vibes in here. A lot of filigree and jewels. You can see this in the image that I've got on the left with the trees, with the filigree image. Even the gingerbread house has got lots of sort of like the decorated swirls and decorations around it. And then the jewels in the garland behind, where you've got the beautiful gold and pearl garlands that are put through there. And then we've got beautiful touches of soft blue and pink. And the pinks in this can be right through to kind of more of a peachy tone through to a soft rosy pink. So there's quite a few different tones that they've used in here. I should have written in here too, pearl. So they've got pearls going through, and you'll see pearls on the decorations themselves, as well as the ornaments in the garland, as I mentioned. Now, this is a beautiful example of a garland and a fireplace and how you can really decorate a mirror. I love using mirrors as a major focal point. I think they always look amazing. So they have used, they've actually, if you look closely, you can see some gorgeous cream butterflies. And there's another theme coming up where the butterflies feature. I think it's a really lovely addition they've got this year. So they're really pretty. They've got lovely cream and light gold berry styles in that garland on the fireplace, particularly towards the ends where they've made them a much bigger, bolder look. And then they've got beautiful hanging pieces on there as well. So you can also hang a garland. If you wanted to simplify this, you could simply have a nice bow on either end and hang a couple of nice long finial pieces, like you can see those clear pieces in the middle, sort of offset like they've done there to one side. That would be a nice way to start something like this if you wanted to try it first and get used to it and then add decorations to it. That's a great thing with garlands and wreaths, particularly garlands. You can buy the greenery and a couple of ornaments one year, and then you can add to it the following year and build it up as you build up your collection and change the look of it very easily. Gorgeous soldier there in the soft sort of silvery tones and gold tones. He is a delight. He'd be like almost 2 meters tall, or 6.5 foot tall. And you can also see, just hanging from the ceiling, they've got some beautiful jeweled finials there, which are really, really lovely. A nice addition. Again, if you didn't want to hang from the ceiling, you could use pieces like that sitting on as part of your mantle display or your garland display. Have one of them on a corner, just hanging gently, and that could be a really beautiful feature piece. Okay, so here's those butterflies that I was talking about. So this one is in the pale blue. So this is still the same theme. You've got your cream, your gold, and this one they've highlighted the pale blue just by using those butterflies. I think these picks are absolutely glorious. I can see them also being used for Easter or even for birthday displays. I think you could make some beautiful displays out of a pick like that with some plain greenery. They've also got a little bit of the gold in there as well in the butterfly, but I think they are really, really lovely. And here's a few more of the main feature pieces in this theme. So you can see just in the tree in the background, those use of, as I said, those kind of peachy tones in the pink, as well as the blues and soft green colours. They've got that white gingerbread theme going through it. So if you've collected beautiful gingerbread pieces in the past and you want to change it up, you could add a little bit of this jeweled finish and add a bowl of baubles in those pink and blue tones, and then that would give you a completely fresh look without having to start with brand new ornaments and a new collection. I love on the right hand side, you've got those angels that you could either put on a mantle like they've got there, or you could put it on as a tree topper, as well as the bow tree topper, which is very new. I don't think we've had that before, or maybe last year. You get confused. You see them over the years as you're buying that you don't even know when something's first come in. And the trees, the beautiful trees with those sort of icicle finishes on them. So again, very elegant. Cinderella in there, I should have mentioned, in that little coach as well, which is beautiful. All right, another change of theme, another look. Now we've got holiday tidings. So this is champagne gold, very soft gold, natural rope elements, pearl drops, beautiful sea theme. So simple sea additions to it. You can see the starfish in the image on the left, pale blue, pink and green. So again, pink and blue have been in a number of our themes, as well as obviously green in its various tones, and subtle touches of that soft blue and pink. So different tones and subtle use of it rather than a strong overall colouring. All right, so you can see here that the tree itself has lots of pearls in those beautiful icicle kind of gold and pearl drops. And then you've got those soft muted tones of blue and green and a bit more of, again, that peachy colour coming through. And iridescence, again, highlight very much in this theme, which is really pretty good. Of course, iridescent under the sea makes total sense to bring them together. You can see also in the tree itself that they've got some picks in there. They've got kind of a corally finish to the picks if you really want to go full on with your theme, for your sea theme. Otherwise, you can use just the colour inspiration and just add a few decorations like the image, the bottom right of the 4 images there, sorry, bottom left, or right as well, where you just add some sea pieces to the sea colouring and don't go as far as adding the coral pick to it as well. Again, green tree as the base of the tree here. I love those set of trees up the top. They're just, I just want to touch them. The colour and the style of those would go with so many themes. Look beautiful in the dining, on a dining table or as part of a tabletop display. And then you can see that they've also worked beautiful nativity into their theme with that little bit of the blue going through it. Gorgeous wreath in the background there. Again, simple repeating of the pearl finish with the pearl pick through that wreath, which is really, really gorgeous. And as I mentioned earlier, you've got the rope theme through this one as well. As you go, don't forget to think about what particular parts of this you like. You may not like a colour that they're using, but you could use that idea and styling idea to create something that works in your colours and your themes. And this picture here is such a beautiful piece. gorgeous Santa. I love the use of soft blue in his jacket and hat. So pretty. Then they've got layered around garland. In fact, they've probably just got picks because it's a smaller piece here. They've got the gorgeous trees around it, some trees in the background, or you could use picks that you stand up in some florist foam or in a little pot. Again, you've got on the left-hand side, you can see that corally pick that they've used here. They've got a couple of glass ornaments sitting in there. That fine ribbon, again, has been fed through this, and then they're hanging a couple of those gorgeous shell ornaments off the front there. This is not difficult to create yourself, this theme. You just need to look at each of the elements they've got. A couple of pieces for the background, have some of the picks spraying out to the side, and then you want some sort of greenery bringing it all together and looping its way around the front and the back of the piece and hanging a couple of ornaments. So you can create this with lots of different colours. I love the sets of trees with Santas or reindeer as a way of bringing together a beautiful display without being too complicated. Okay, changing again. This time we've got Holiday in Pine as the new theme. So again, strong use of greenery. You can see in this image the green garland and wreath, the greenery really strong in that gorgeous pot that they've created at the front of the image there. You've got red and muted deeper green tones. So you'll see that the green is not a bright green, but it's not dark green. It's just a bit more mossy, deeper kind of mid-tone green. Wooden decor in here, and you'll also see the cardinal is a strong feature of this. This is a really timeless theme and colorway that you can add different elements to each year. So for example, if you love those black and white balls and deck the halls, you could add that to this theme very easily and change the look. If you wanted to brighten it up, you could add a brighter green rather than the soft green that they've used here and change it up another year. So having the berries and the base red, the base green, and then having other elements that you add each year is a way to freshen the look if you wanted to. All right, so as I mentioned, cardinals are a real feature in this theme. So you'll see in the tree they are on the baubles. They are also as a decoration themselves. It looks to me like they've got kind of resin as well as feather cardinals in there. They've got the baubles themselves are a strong white, and they look like they're semi-opaque ornaments. So the glass the colour will come through from your fairy lights, give it a bit of brightness so it's not a solid white, which I always love those semi-opaque baubles because it does allow that light through to brighten them up, which I think looks fabulous. So the baubles themselves have that white base that gives the whole look a real freshness and lightness to it. Then you've got the cardinals and poinsettias on the images there. They've used finial style, so much longer, quite big finials as feature pieces, as well as the round baubles in there. And then to add more interest, they've got gorgeous glass pine cones in that, as I said, that mid-tone soft green colour. So a great way of adding another shape to your decorating there. Again, this is an example where the flowers are strong and a main part of the feature, a main part of the theme. So you can see here that you've got poinsettias in the tree itself, as well as different sort of mistletoe picks and other picks in there. And you can also see the poinsettias in the gorgeous basket on the right-hand side. A basket like that on the right-hand side is really easy to create. All you need to do is, in this case, 3 poinsettias. It's probably got 2 to 3 picks on either side. You could have one at the back as well, and a bit of florist foam in your basket, and that's it. And make sure you bend your picks and your poinsettias to create the shape that you want for each of them. And it really is a very easy way of adding beautiful wow factors to your home. All right, so again, we've got a bit of a vintage. If you look at our Santas in the middle here, a little bit of that vintage muted styling. I love the use of the wooden nutcrackers in this theme on the left-hand side. I think the natural nutcrackers, which we've seen around before, but I really like them in this theme. You can also see with the ribbon, it's got that kind of natural element as the background of the ribbon and the soft green and red in it, which is really lovely. You'll also notice the red lit trees, which are always a favourite of mine. Such an easy way to add beautiful display to anywhere in your home. And a simple vase of those picks to the right of the trees on the left in the left-hand image is again such a great way to bring a touch of Christmas to anywhere you want in your home without going to a whole lot of effort. Slightly iced finish here in this sort of muted pick in the garland, in the wreath here. So you do have a little bit of softness in some of the foliage added to the brighter green in this one as well. And this one you can really see that green, the deeper, more olivey green of the finial that's sitting there on the tabletop in the right-hand image. Those wooden nutcrackers on the right that's a sort of a newer style, I think, for them this year, and another great option. What I like about anything that's flat like that too, it's great for storage. And our final theme for our Raz 2025 Part 1 is Holly Jolly Christmas. So everything else has been a bit more formal, this one a bit more fun. So you'll see there's a lot of use of stripes and polka dots in this theme. Again, we're going to see bright pink, blue and green as well as red and white. So this particular image here is more of your red and white and gingerbread, but you'll see some of those other elements come through in some of the other images that we share here. So you can see in this wreath that they've got gorgeous gingerbread added to it, gingerbread men, gingerbread houses, as well as the peppermint theme with the red and white stripes and the candy canes on there. And the last element we're going to see is sort of a bit of a sprinkle theme. So very much fun, great one for kids. All right, so here's the bright that I spoke of. So plain gingerbread with white trim, white sort of frosting look, and then very bright. So this is the first theme where we've got a flocked garland as the base rather than a green. So everything is lighter and brighter in this theme, and those very strong turquoise tone as well as bright pink and bright green. I love, again, when you look at this garland, the garland's hanging underneath. So if you didn't want to do everything they've got on that garland, so they've got ribbons, they've got poinsettias, they've got, and the ribbon running through. And I think they've probably got actually those baubles are potentially a garland itself that's been fed through a garland. Then you could just put, for example, the ball garland through it and then hang those little glass style garlands underneath as a way to finish it off. I think it always adds a really nice finish when you use those glass garlands hanging below a otherwise decorated garland. And then you've got on the right-hand image some of the beautiful sort of nutcrackers in bright colours. Now these particular guys, that style of nutcracker has been around for a few years, but I love that there's new colourways that we get to see every year. So it's always fresh, always fun. This one very much pink and those touches of green on there, and a really bright as I say, fun theme. I love those lanterns as well. They would be great for any summer theme. So if you like to entertain and you like to dress your table for when guests come over, those lanterns in the green would be a great addition for summertime decorating for our friends in America in the Northern Hemisphere, and something you could keep out all year. All right, and some more, our second tree. So you can see this flocking is strong here. Here's an example of the larger baubles being used. So often when you're going for a whimsical finish and you're decorating, throw some very big balls. So they would be, I would say, 20 centimetre or 8-inch size baubles in there. You can see they've, if you look at them closely, they've got this sort of sprinkle finish, but you could use plain baubles that you put in. You can see with the big baubles, you push them into the tree to give interest, to give depth to the tree, and it really does help create a whimsical feel. They've used ribbon bunches in here, but more on the outside of the tree, so they're more of a feature on the outside of the tree, as well as decorating with the gingerbread elements and the plain balls in the blue, green, and pink. And when I say balls, they've got, again, different shapes. They've got the finial shape as well as using bauble shape in there. So mixing it up with a finial mixed in always adds lots of interest. Looking at our photos on the right, you can just see all the beautiful bright colours in here. There's also quite a bit of a felt finish. So the bottom left image, you've got a felt wreath there, which is really pretty, and the felt hats. And you can also see on those hats that sort of sprinkle theme going on. I really love also these candles on the right. They've been around in different colorways again over the last couple of years. I think they're a really fabulous decoration to add, to be able to use and mix around with different themes that you have in your house. And you could also use those candles and get them out for birthdays. Right? They don't scream Christmas with those colours. So they'd be a great one if you wanted to have a little area that you decorate up for Christmas, for everyone's birthday, then you could get those candles out and use those. And here's a feature of our gingerbread with the sprinkles. So you can see the sort of the sprinkles elements. I'd say they're a side of a house on the left-hand side. The garland running through there. So it's lovely the way they've got Santa holding that garland, running down onto the tabletop, and then the trees with the gingerbread and those same colours mixed through just brings it all together. So as I said, if you're looking for a way to bring a story together and how to put it together, forget what's on the left there, although wrapping a few parcels and putting them as part of your display and using them as risers. So, if you wanted a tree at the back to be a bit taller, you could wrap a parcel with a nice ribbon like they've got there and add that, put the tree on top of that. And that's a great way of adding some interest to your decorating. And then just having a Santa with some trees. In this case, he's holding that garland, and then adding the little snow globe on the to the look is a great way to create an overall finished look rather than just putting a Santa sitting on a bench by himself. And then, as we saw in the beginning, this is the other sort of side of this Holly Jolly Christmas theme, where we've got our red and white, our peppermint sort of theme in there. So we've got red and white bows and baubles in there, and the peppermints and candy cane, and then the gingerbread. That gingerbread guy is a stunner. He was around last year. I think that was the first year we saw him last year, and I love him. I think he is really beautiful, and one that, because he doesn't have any colour, you can add him to any themes. So great having some of those your bigger feature pieces in neutral colours means that you can add them to whatever colour theme you want if you like to change things up, which I think is a great option as well. Again, use of the thinner ribbons through this one adds a really nice little touch. So simple bows added to this. All right, so that's the end of our part 1 of our Raz themes. I'll be back very, very soon with the part 2 and the last of the Raz Imports 2025 themes.